called, the title today is called When Wounded. W-I-N, when wounded. Now, like I said before, some people might see that as an oxymoron. Like, how can you win when you're wounded? But what I got out of that, when I heard it mentioned, I heard that phrase mentioned by Kirk Franklin at his concert last year. I was looking at it on YouTube with one of my clients when I was doing her hair. And when he said that phrase, when wounded, we literally both gasped at the same time. Like, it literally was like a gut punch. It's like, wow, when wounded. So what I got out of that was that you win regardless of what you're going through. Regardless of what's happening, you have to have that mindset that you win or you've won. And it just comes to, like, you think about like a soldier, you know, they're wounded. Some come out there with a sling on their arm, some come with a bandage around their head, some come out there limping, you know, but in their mind, it's like, yeah, we won. We won. I might be beat down, might have some scars and some bruises, but we won. So that's the mindset we have to have in spite of what we're dealing with. And wounds can be anything. It can be physical, emotional, mental. It can be whatever it is that's affecting you and distracting you and trying to pull you away from your relationship with God. All of that can be listed on the wound. Because when you're hurting, you thinking about the hurt. You think about that pain, what is in your leg, your head, your back. You thinking about that pain. And those who are parents, you know, your kids don't understand when mama or daddy in pain. They want to eat, they want to get, you know, they want to go here and there, they want to do this and that. But it's not that when you're in so much pain, it's not that you're trying to neglect your children, but you're focusing on the fact that, okay, I'm hurting. I can barely move. But then you have to make up your mind, is like, okay, I gotta push forward, push forward. We can do this. We can. It's not that the Lord will use your kids. They'll come and they'll just, you know, just a little smile or just a pat, like it's gonna be okay. And that simple thing right there can make a big difference. Now, it might not necessarily take your pain away, but it will change your mindset. It will switch it now from that pain to your child or the other stuff that you have to do, especially if you're a single parent. Like now, most of the time you don't have that option. you don't get that option all the time. Unless, you know, the Lord bless you with your village and you can, you know, can you watch my child right here while I do this and that? But for the most part, you don't really get that option. But your mind, everything starts in your mind. And that's why I always tell the kids, like young people I talk to, I said, everything starts in your mind. Whether you're going to do right or wrong, good or bad, whatever it is already in your mind. So just think, if you had the mindset set up that you're going to do this when you know you're not supposed to be doing it, but you quick to run over here and do it, why can't you have that same mindset for the good side? That I'm going to make it through this, in spite of what I feel like. In spite of what people say about me. In spite of what people think about me. One person said this one time. I'm not going to name their name. But when I heard it, I was like, it just gave me a different perspective. Because she said her professor told her that a long time ago when she was in college. And she said, a professor told her, she said, what people think of you or say about you is none of your business. And she was saying at first she didn't understand, like, what you mean? But then when they broke it down, it's like, that's true. That has nothing to do with you. But a lot of us take that on. If somebody says something negative about us, allowing us, no, it doesn't feel good, but that's not our responsibility. That's not our business. So we're taking on unnecessary wounds. We're taking on necessary things that has nothing to do with us. And that in turn festers into something else. Now it started off not even being your situation or your problem. Now you're going to turn it into something bigger. Which now it's causing problems. Because now it's taking your attention off of what God has for you to do. It's taking attention of who God says you are, who is the only one you need to be getting validation from anyway. So it's taken away from that. And that is a wound. Like I said, whatever, it doesn't necessarily have to be physical. But anything, like I said, that takes you away or try to pull you away from your relationship with God is a wound, because you're focusing on that and not what God has for you to do. And you can edit that too when you know that you're walking in what God has for you. Or the devil gonna come full force now. Yeah, he's not gonna sit back like, oh, okay, you got a word from God. Okay, I'm gonna let you go ahead and do that. No, that's when he's gonna come. He coming full barrel, and he's going to use the people and the things that's closest to you. Because that's how you know he's gonna get you. Because usually, if a stranger says something, if a stranger says something, you be like, they don't even know me. I don't know them. They don't know me. I don't know what they're talking about. But when you have someone that's close to you, family, close friends, the ones that you have known literally all your life, that's the one. When they say something out of the way, that's what you're gonna remember. That's the one that's gonna sit right. And sometimes it don't hit you till afterwards. You might have a conversation with somebody, and they might say something, and they be like, wait a minute, what did they mean by that? So then again, perception is another thing that can get you too. Because it's not even what the person said, it's what you perceive that they said. That also messes you up. Because that person might have every intention of doing right by you. But if you already have something going on, something that's already affecting you, something that's already messing with your mind, now whatever they're saying now, you feel as an attack. So now you're going against your brother or sister or your friend when they didn't have any ill feelings towards you. It wasn't whatever they said to you, it was out of love, but you perceived it as something else. And that caused the wound. Now I do have my scriptures. I'm gonna try to stay in order. I always remember what Pastor Jerry. I always said that to my mom. I'm gonna try to stay in order. I said, I see what she meant by that. So the first scripture I have is Isaiah 54:17. It says, no weapon that is formed against me shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. Now, it didn't say it won't form. It didn't say they won't talk about you. It didn't say they won't come against you. It said it won't prosper. Even that situation that was supposed to take you out, it just wounded you. It was supposed to kill you, but it wounded you, which means it failed. So now you can do what? You can win wounded. Because now you're still here. You're still here. You're still here to fight. My other scripture is Romans 8:31 and 37. This is one of the ones that Pastor Robert said today, too. I said, everybody was preaching my message today. Said, what then shall we say in response to these things? If God is for us, who can be against us? And 37, Romans 8:37, nay, in all these things, we are more than conquerors through him that loved us. And everybody know that's one of my favorite scriptures, because that's also my signature on my text messages. Because that's what I have to keep looking at, is different things. Whatever you have to do, whatever the Lord give you, like I said, for me, music, he always speaks to me through music. Like regardless of whatever it is I'm going through, it's always something. I hear a song or something that would just resonate and just sit there like, okay, Lord, okay, I understand. And then you have your scripture. Then he would send someone to that you haven't even spoken to, don't even know what's going on with you. And he will give them the word to speak to you. So whatever it is that you have to do to get in that mindset, that yes, I'm wounded, but I'm still breathing. I'm still here. One limb might not be working right, but I still got the other ones. If I have to drag across the finish line, if I have to drag out of the bed, which I've had to do before. But guess what? You're still here and you win. Woo! You still win. Because like I said, whatever was meant to take you out, it didn't. So it failed. So just like some people saying, the devil thought he should have did what he was going to do when I was out there. He should have did what he was going to do then. Because now, yeah, you coming with a full barrel, but I'm coming with Jesus Christ. Because you know the enemy, he doesn't come with anything new. He always piggybacking and trying to copy stuff. He's not original. He don't ever come with anything original. And you say, resist the devil and he shall flee. Because he don't have any power unless you give it to him. He only have the power that we give him. So if we keep focusing on the offenses and the hurts, now I can do a disclaimer because I don't want anybody saying, it's not that I know it's not that easy. Because I'm speaking to myself. It's still stuff that I still got to deal with. I haven't been glorified. I haven't made it to heaven yet. It's still stuff that I got to work on. I'm talking to myself. So I know at times it can be easier said than done. But guess what? It can be done. You have to make up your mind that regardless of what your body is saying, your mind is still powerful. Your mind is powerful. And though your body may say, nope, I'm not getting up. Nope, not doing this. Your mind like, nope. By Jesus' stripes, I am healed. In the mighty name of Jesus. And my body will line up with your word, Lord. By your stripes, I'm healed. Now, sometimes you might get an instant healing. And other times you won't. And now that's when the flesh come in. Just like how Pastor Robert said earlier, they're waiting. That's regardless of whatever it is. That waiting time, just like even in the natural, you in the hospital or wherever it is you're waiting, those who don't have a lot of patience, 3-4 minutes might go by like, wait a minute now. Why am I still out here in the waiting room? And it all depends, again, the same way in the spiritual and the natural, how your attitude is. Because even in the natural, you're in the waiting room, but you go up there to the nurses or whoever with an attitude. guess what? They might not say it, but they're not going to put a, they're not going to be jumping trying to help you. Because now you came up in here with an attitude. There's other people up here waiting too. So they ain't going to come right out and say, well, I'm just going to put you in the back of the list. Oh, they're just going to take their time and letting the doctor know, whoever else know that you're out there waiting. Because now you don't came up there and mess them up. You don't cause the wound with them now. Because now you came in with an attitude. So in the spiritual realm, while we're waiting, you have to have the right attitude still. You still have to have that right attitude. Because what God has for you is for you, but you can delay it by your attitude. Because you can come in and like, okay, Lord, well, you said this and that. Well, so-and-so, they don't even go to church like I do. Or, they don't even acknowledge you like I do. And how come they have this and they have that? And I'm still over here and I'm sacrificing everything and I'm doing everything that you asked me to do and all. And why I don't have what I asked for? Now, what God has for you, because he can't lie, but you can delay it. So you just don't know. You might have been at that opening to step into what he had for you, but your mouth done messed it up. Or your thoughts done messed it up. But like I said, everything starts in your mind. So I broke down the word when as an acronym. Said W is for was, I is for is, and necessary. Because I know a couple years ago I spoke and had a title that said, it was and is necessary. And Pastor Gerald was the one that noticed that the acronym said, I win. Because what we deal with, we might not see it as we're going through it, but it's necessary. Just like it was mentioned today, if we can do this stuff on our own, God is not going to get the glory out of it. Because we can go out there and we can do it. But when we depend on him, and we know that if he doesn't do it, it's not going to get done. Now he gets all the glory. And in turn, we can minister and witness to someone else. So I said we can all have the right heart and mind. Like if somebody's going through something, then you can have the right heart. You're trying to encourage them. But unless you have actually been through what they're going through, it makes a big difference. Like they will appreciate, what you're telling them. You're trying to comfort them. But when they know and they see what God has done, because God, he don't have any favorites, like I said before. He has no favorites. So if he did it for me, he's going to do it for you. Now he's not going to do it the same way, because my testimony is not your testimony. My struggle is not your struggle. He's not going to do it the same way, but he will do it if we believe and we trust him and we depend on him, rely on him, and thank him before, during, and after. Because that's where it comes in. If you got to praise your way out of it, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, because guess what? It confuses the devil. And that's a great thing. Because he will understand, I done threw all this stuff at you. And you still praise God? The same one that you said is your father and your provider and your strength and your health. And you going through all this and you still thank him? Because their most famous saying, where was God? They love to say that. With stuff going on. Where is God? But those of us who know, he said he will never leave us nor forsake us. Even if we feel like he's not there, he's always there. He's always there with open arms. Even when we turn our back. Because if we feel like God is furthest away from us, guess what? It wasn't him that walked away. It was us. Because he said he would never leave us nor forsake us. And again, he cannot lie. So that means he's always there, but because we want to do what we want to do in our timing, because we figure we got to help God out. Because I heard somebody say that before, talking about God take too long. And if we are honest with ourselves now, we do think that. We're not gonna pretend. We're not gonna sit up here like we holy, we so super holy and stuff. Now you know, in reality, you're like, okay, now Lord, I know our timing is not your timing, but any time yet. You know? So yeah, if we honest with ourselves, we're like, okay. But guess what? When we leave it in his hands, though, it's gonna be done correctly. Because we're gonna do it ourselves, guess what? Now we gotta come back and ask for forgiveness and we start all over again. Because we tried it on our own. It didn't work. So I'm okay, Lord, I'm sorry. They had this one Instagram lady I follow. She does like a lot. I love how she does like the Bible stories. She does like skits and different things. And one of her main slogan is, I'm gonna see for myself. So it's like whatever, she does like scenarios where she's talking to God. And one of her main ones was, waiting on her husband and all that. So she will ask God about this guy before she can get it out. He'd be like, nope. She's like, but I didn't even say anything. And so he was like, no, but I know him. God is saying, I know him. And no, he's not the one for you. So then she would think about it. She's like, I'm going to see for myself. And then she'll go off and she tried to do it. And she had one when she came back. He's like, the sound effects was so funny. Because like she walked on, so I'm going to see for myself. And the next scene was her getting slapped back into reality. And then she's like, okay, Lord, I'm sorry. She to come back and apologize. So that's pretty much what we do on our own too when we're trying to do things ourselves. So I'm going to see for myself. Not realizing, or maybe you are realizing, but you're still in your mind, I want to do this myself. You talking to the one who made that person that you're trying to run out. Wow. So we don't cut out the middleman. You straight to the person who made this person. But you're acting like he don't know what he's talking about. So now you're going to go see for yourself. Well, go ahead. I said, be careful what you ask for. And it's that waiting. Again, it's in that waiting time. Because that waiting is what gets you. Because you can have all the trust in that word, but that waiting is going to test that trust. All that talk that you were talking. Let it not happen when you think it should have happened. Or the way it should have happened. Then the real you come out. Yeah, that's when the real you come out. So as far as the one, I said wounded is not just physical. It can be emotional, spiritual, mental. And one of the stories, because it's a few people several people in the Bible, but one particular one too that came to mind that I think he literally covers pretty much anything you talk about. Because when you ask somebody who they don't want to be, that's in the Bible, the main person they say is Job. No one wants to be Job. But his story literally covers everything. So he pretty much uncovered all the wounds. He covered all of them. Physical, mental, emotional, love wounds, because his wife telling him to curse God and die. His friends still trying to confuse as to why are you still serving this God. Well, you literally just lost everything. Everything. And you're still up here praising God. You're still up here thanking God. You're still up here praying to God. And you get all these afflictions on your body. So it's everything, his physical, his mental, everything. But he's still pressing his way through. And he might have had this phrase, when wounded, but his actions was when wounded. Because in spite of all of that, he still had his faith in God. He still knew God would bring him through. He still knew God did not leave him. Even though I'm sure at times he probably felt it, because he's human. But he still trusted God. When everyone else around him looking at him like he's crazy. And of course, God showed up on his behalf. And blessed him with more than he had before. When wounded. Because he had every right to throw in the towel. He had every right. In our book. You know, looking at it from the human perspective, he had every right. You done lost all your animals. You know, that's how they make their money. They farm and all. You know, you done lost all your kids. All of them. One is too many. But all of them, and you still praising God, and you still thanking God. Not one time did he blame God. But you know, these folks nowadays, everything that, oh, God did this and God. No. No. He still, and that's even his wife, who's supposed to be his helpmeet. She telling him to curse God and die. Because yeah, she was upset too, because those are her kids. Yeah. But in the same token, though, you trying to push him away from God. And said that this is the time. Because yes, we have that tendency to do that, because I know I was guilty of that too. When you're going through hurt, you tend to draw back. When in reality, that's the time you need to be drawing closer to God. But again, we're still human. God made us. He know how we are. And he's still working on us. And I thank him each and every day. Because each day we got to die to ourselves. But yes, when we're going through stuff, you have that tendency to pull away. And see, Job's wife pulled away. But Job go closer to God. Because he believed that the Lord would never leave us nor forsake us. And they have some other people in the Bible that also went through wounds. Paul and Silas. Now, we all know that story about Paul and Silas. Wrongly accused. Like they said that they mind their own business. Can't even mind my own business. Folks up here just accusing me of stuff. Then they don't beat them in front of everybody. And not just a beating. Flogging. So I'm thinking flogging is worse than a regular beating. So they don't flog them in front of everyone and then threw them in jail. Now, isn't that a kicker? Now, they didn't do anything. But they were accused by this lady going through town, accusing them of stuff. And she was the one that the townspeople was making money off of, because she was, quote unquote, doing visions or telling people what to feature and all that. Again, the enemy, he doesn't come with anything original. Always trying to piggyback off of God. So when they cast out the devil out of her, those other folks got angry because they saw their money gone now. They're like, wait a minute, we making money off of her. You best know what I gained now. You messing with my money. Yeah. So then that's when they got them, beat them, and threw them in jail. Again, they could have had a bad attitude, because first of all, we didn't do anything. Then you beat us and put us in jail. They could have had that bad attitude. But no, they stood in jail and they praised and prayed to God. They decided they were going to win wounded, and they were wounded because they were flogged. That wasn't a regular beating. They were flogged. So they decided they're going to win wounded. And in the midst of their praise and worship, they were praying and worshiping through the situation that they were in. The other people were listening. The other jailers were listening. Because they could have said to, okay, God, where are you? What's going on? We sitting up here in jail, we chained up, barely getting anything to eat when I got beat. Like, what's going on? But no, they kept their focus on praising and thanking God. Then God showed up. In the midst of it all, like he always do. And that probably was at the 11th hour, because you know God love to show up at the 11th hour. So he showed up, earthquake and everything. And not only did he touch Paul and Silas, but all the other jailers in there, their chains was broken. So he didn't just come just for those. He came for all the rest of them. And when the guard saw this, he just knew he was a goner. Because he thought everybody left. So he just knew he was going to be gone. So he decided to try to take himself out. And they had to let him know, no, we're all here. We're here. You don't have to do that. We're all here. So then he asked him, what do he need to do to be saved? And not only did he get saved, but the Lord saved his entire household. So that's also the part where we said those attached to us. Because God has some people that's attached to us. Because if we keep walking wounded and keep being offended and being distracted, how are we going to stay focused on what God has for us to do, which pertains to someone else that he has attached to us? So not only are you blocking your blessing, you're blocking someone else's blessing. So just think about that when he asks, what do I need to do to be saved? And then not only him getting saved, but his entire household. Nobody but God. Who else can do that? Who else will get the glory out of that? No one. No one but God. Then the other story I did about a while ago was on Joseph. Just give references of, even though they didn't use that term when wounded, but their actions of what they did. In this day and age, we would consider that when wounded. But before I get to that, I knew something else I wanted to address regarding Paul and Silas. Just to show you how flesh could have taken over, but they decided to stay in the spirit. Because even when, after all that happened, the Lord brought the change and everything, and then they decided to release them. Because then they realized who they were. So Paul, I'm going to do it in today's terminology. Just picture it in today's term. You have you and your homeboys over here, and you've been wrongly accused, and now they're like, okay, now you can go ahead, you can go on, we release you, you can go ahead. And the other ones, they be like, okay, let's go. And you always gonna have one. Because Paul was like, they beat us publicly without a trial, even though we are Roman citizens, and threw us into prison. And now do they want to get rid of us quietly? No. Let them come themselves and escort us out. Because you're always going to have that one. Like, no. Because the rest, Silas probably like, okay, Paul, let's go. We free now. No. They done did all that. You had all that talk. You don't beat us in front of everybody. You don't throw us in jail. You don't did all this stuff to us. Now you think you're just gonna brush us off and say, okay, now you're free to go. Just leave. No, no. You had all that, like I always said, keep that same energy. You had all that out earlier when you was accusing me of stuff. Now I know you come out here and you escort us out of here. Since you had all that talk. Now again, I could have gone another way. Because Paul could have ended right back up in jail. but the people realized though, they were like, okay, when they realized who they were Romans, they was like, okay, we're gonna come out here and we're gonna escort them. According. Because I said that could have turned that, the attitude, all that could have turned that into something totally. It would have been a whole nother story about Paul's house. Yes, the attitude is very important. And then with Joseph, with his brothers, that were just jealous of him because he was having visions. And they were mad, talking, oh, we supposed to bow down to you? Like, who are you supposed to be? You know, they were just mad at him, so they decided they want to throw him in the well, and we're going to try to kill him first, then they decided they're going to throw him down, and then they want to sell him. Now, he had to go to this. Now, in his mind, now he wasn't thinking that this was necessary. Or that he was going to win wounded. But he had to be where he was in order to help his dad and his brothers. Now, had he not been there and gone through what he had to go through, he wouldn't have been able to help his dad and his brothers when that family came through. He done got lied on, accused of stuff, thrown in jail. So they like throwing people in jail back then. But he still, in all that, he still praised God. He still thanked God. And God showed up on his behalf and helped him help his family. Again, the ones that's connected to you. So it's not just about you. And I'm not trying to negate anyone's feeling when you're going through stuff. I'm not saying that you got to pretend like what you're going through doesn't hurt. And what I'm saying is that eventually you can go through the motions. You got to cry. You got to scream. Whatever you got to do to get, but eventually you have to get to that point that regardless of what I'm going through, regardless of what I feel, regardless of what it looks like, I'm still going to win wounded. Because what was meant to take me out, it failed. So I'm still here, and I still have the ability to do and to be who God has called me to do and to be. And I'm going to leave on this. It says Psalms 147:3 says, God is reminding us that his power is unlimited. He is mighty enough to heal all wounds, no matter when or how they occurred in our lives. Our pain is not beyond his tremendous power. He is the great physician, able to reach into our past and heal our souls. And just remember, no matter what anyone calls you, no matter what anyone says about you, no matter what it looks like, no matter even if you might have caused it because you were trying to do it on your own, just remember what was meant to take you out, it didn't work. So now you have that opportunity to win wounded.
Wow.